All right, hey, what's up guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, today we are going to do a video talking about how we handle two to the flat and then how you can build in some terminology, communication, terms, things that help your kids understand exactly what you're playing to handle two to the flat. Make sure you check out some of our partners, Game Strat, sideline replay company we use. I've used them the last 5 or 6 years. Currently use them here at Bishop Kenny. If you're looking for highly reliable, highly affordable, I strongly recommend you check out Game Strat. Dome Hats, the headwear company we use at Bishop Kenny High School. Every high school I've been at in my career. Play Fast Football. This is one of our custom fitted dome hats with Bishop Kenny. All right, they've got quick turnaround times going now, so they've got their Turn 2 program, 2-week turnaround, completely customizable, build your own hat. They can do anything you want. They're all about coaches. Check out Dome Hats. Baker Sporting Goods company we use for our coaches gear, so shirts and shorts and our sideline gear. Our uniforms are distributed from them, spirit packs. Any fan stores or things that we do for teachers or fans go through Baker Sporting Goods, huge in the baseball world, in the shoulder pad world with pro gear stuff. Make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. JustPlay, which is the playbook software we use. So I use it when I speak at clinics, if I do any Zoom clinics, if I speak in person, my Patreon site. I use JustPlay for all my drawings, and then we use it for not only our playbook stuff, but for a lot of our installs, the presentation mode, our team meetings. If you're looking to take your program to the next level, make sure you check out JustPlay. DifferenceUSA, ultimate striking machine. You get thousands of reps, don't need a partner. It's just you and the DifferenceUSA machine in the weight room. It goes on all the standard racks that are in the weight room. You don't have to teach a player how to hold a bag. You don't have to waste time with that. One player, DifferenceUSA. You want to learn how to strike violently, you've got to practice striking violently. All right, and then with the Play Fast Virtual Clinic series is wrapping up tomorrow night. We have Matt Lawrence, offensive line coach from Bowles High School, played offensive line at Wisconsin. He's going to be talking gap scheme for 90 minutes tomorrow. All right, so if you're interested in that, email Sting 8740, S-T-I-N-G, 8740@gmail.com. I'll tell you how you can register to be there live. I record it on Zoom, and then everybody that registers gets a link of the recording afterwards, so you can watch it as many times as you want, share it with people on your staff. It doesn't, once you register, you can do with it whatever you want. All right, and then we've done 7 previous ones. All right, if you want any of those clinics, you can email me. All right, $5 a piece for those. If you wanted all 7, got a special before the season going on right now. You could get all 7 for $30. If you want to register for tomorrow, email me to register for tomorrow. Individuals, all 7, email sting8740@gmail.com. And then if you're interested in some things that I do on a bigger scheme, patreon.com/CoachMac. It's basically YouTube kind of on steroids. The volume of YouTube videos is higher than the volume of Patreon stuff, but the Patreon stuff has game clips. It has clinics posted on there. It goes all the way back to 3 or 4 years ago when we did the live clinic in St. Augustine, the Play Fast clinic. So it's got clips of us from my last job, this job, game clips. I take you through clips, 7-on-7 clips, playbook stuff. So all the stuff that I don't do on YouTube, I do on Patreon. If you are interested in Play Fast, Coach Mac on another level, patreon.com is the way to do that. It's a subscription site, $5 a month. You know, nothing crazy. $5 a month, you subscribe, comes out of your whatever bank account, whatever you charge it to, $5 every month. When you want to quit, stop subscribing, no more payments come out. So if you're interested in that, patreon.com/Coach Mac. So last Thursday, we had Jordan Belfiore, defense coordinator at Colgate University, do a great clinic on quarters-based run fits, how they communicate their fits, how they sling or take their fits and fit them to the back, what they call either back fits or they call them sling fits. And he also brought up a great point about how they communicate handling two to the flat, right? So for us, we have some general basic ways that we play two to the flat, right? So our standard way of playing two to the flat is what we would call our palms coverage. Okay, our palms coverage in terminology is basically a cloud theory, which means the corner is handling two to the flat, right? So when we do that, we're doing that in our middle of the field open quarters toolbox so that the Sam linebacker can be tighter to the box, tighter to the run fit, depending on the structures that we're playing. He's the guy that's going to get in a lot of the RPO deals, so we don't have to worry about playing him too wide. All right, so he can be tighter to the box. Two to the flat is going to be handled by the corner, so you can look at that as a cloud structure, right? So cloud means corner, corner support. If the corner is a support player, starts with a C, 2 to the flat is handled by the corner. That is what we consider a cloud support system. If we wanted to play our read coverage, which is quarters coverage, all right, so our read coverage is quarter coverage. That now becomes what most people would call Bronco support. So Bronco support means the backer is going to be the force player, and the backer is going to handle 2 to the flat. So now we would have to play the Sam linebacker outside of 2. That's how we do it. Not everybody does it that way. That's how we do it. Okay. So Bronco support for us in quarters, we would play all of 1 with the corner except shallow. The safety would now play a little bit tighter and play a quarters technique off of number 2. And now there's a backer responsible for number 2 to the flat. Now, how often do we do that to 2 removed? We don't do it a ton. We really don't do it a ton out of tight front because I don't like the edge of the defense. Okay, now if we change fronts and we went to 4 down and played over, all right, I might be more inclined to run that version. Excuse me. That version of the coverage. When it's 2 removed, we do not play it a ton. But it's already built in because tight end flanker pro 21, that's how we're going to play 21 personnel. So now we've already got it built in. If 2 to the flat is the backer and we make a read call, quarters call, that we consider in terminology Bronco support. Okay, so now they know cloud support, the corner's got 2 to the flat. Bronco support, all right, the backer's got 2 to the flat. Now, when I say support, what you've got to understand sometimes in the support world, when we play palms, the corner is not really the force player. So right now I'm talking to you in terms of how we handle 2 to the flat and verbiage you can use to say 2 to the flat. Support in certain coverage deals is not the best term to use because we don't support runs with the corner in palms. Cloud, all right, cloud support would tell us that the corner is the D-gap run player, right? So if we had cloud as a support term and backer as a support term, okay, then I would use different terminology, all right, for support. So if 2 to the flat was cloud and Bronco, then maybe, you know, your support deals become, all right, maybe they're clamp and they're, you know, whatever, buzz. Bottom line is C word, B word, S word. That's how we're handling 2 to the flat. Okay, I don't talk in terms of run support when I talk 2 to the flat. Right now, the video that I'm talking about is how we handle 2 to the flat. I'm not talking run support. So using the word support in this video is a mistake on my part. It's not support. We're not talking support. We're talking coverage, how we handle 2 to the flat. Right? So in the coverage world, 2 to the flat, there's palms, which is the corner. Again, if you wanted to tie that to something, you could tie that. All right? There's quarters, which is backer. Okay? And again, whatever word you want to tie to it. Okay? And then for us, what most people would call maybe their press quarters or however they want to turn it. For us, it's more of a man deal. All right? So if we play man concepts, it becomes safety. All right? And again, that can be sky, whatever you want it to be. Again, not support. Who's got 2 to the flat? So if we were facing a bunch of RPO teams or we were struggling with our pattern match stuff, we could play the corner on 1, the safety on 2, and tuck the Sam tighter to the box. All right, and that is a man adjustment for us. Again, people out there that might call it press quarters or match quarters, whatever they call it, to me, it's irrelevant what you call it. It's how you teach it to your players. So now 2 to the flat would be handled by the safety playing man-to-man on number 2. I'm not talking about bracketing, inside out, banjo. I'm talking about straight up, normal splits. Corner's got 1, safety's got 2. 2 to the flat now becomes the safety. Right? So how we're handling 2 to the flat, we can use terminology to let our kids know, hey, for us it's all palms, quarters, or our man-to-man calls. That's how we know we're changing up 2 to the flat. Okay? If we wanted to play cover 2, and we play true cover 2 with the corner there and the safety over the top, that falls into the corner category of 2 to the flat. Right? That falls into the corner category of how we play 2 to the flat. If we rotate it down to play 3D, okay, so if we took a safety down and spun to play 3D, and maybe the middle safety went there, Well, on this side, that would fall under safety support. Safety's got 2 to the flat. On this side, if it was the will, that's going to fall under Bronco. And again, if it's 3 deep and they're the D-gap player and the support player, then you can use the word support. Okay? If it's palms coverage or other things that support and 2 to the flat don't necessarily fit, you've got to choose your terminology. So I don't talk to our guys about support in coverage. I talk to them about how we're handling 2 to the flat, who's carrying the wheel. So if we spun down to 3 deep, okay, it would be safety's got 2 to the flat here, backer's got 2 to the flat there. If you tied a word to it, all right, cowboy, all right, however you want to talk it, you know, cowboy, bullet, and whatever else you want to storm, whatever words you tie to it, CBS, corner 2 to the flat, backer 2 to the flat, safety 2 to the flat. Okay, so for us where that starts to get important is when we use a lot of our 3 deep rotations. So if I want to bring both safeties down, all right, so if I want to spin both safeties down and play 3 deep, well now the safeties have 2 to the flat on each side. So now we're in that storm, or we're in that sky, or we're in that strike, or we're in that, whatever that world is with the S term, that's how we're handling 2 to the flat. The backers now know I've taken the responsibility of 2 to the flat off of them. If I wanted to buzz the Sam on a side, so if I wanted the Sam to be a little bit wider and buzz him under 1, middle safety drops there. Well, this side is backer, that side is safety. All right, so it gives us a way that we can handle 2 to the flat, and then we end up talking about it like it's the same deal in the 3x1 world. So once we get to 3x1 and we start making 3x1 adjustments, we've got to know to the single what we're trying to do. So our standard day 1 deal is what everybody calls, all right, stubby, we call it mix, some people call it mini. So for us it's man on number 1, palms on 2 and 3. Sam plays palms off where the back is. Mike and Will are in the box. Now on the back side, if our safety says sky, we know that the safety is the flat player. He's got 2 to the flat. Okay? If we said clamp, we now know that the corner is 2 to the flat and the safety is the high player. Okay? If we had to play poach, all right, so if the backside safety had to come over here to poach 3, well now on the backside you're going to end up with the backer responsible for 2 to the flat. So all you're doing is you're building a system, and in the system you're teaching kids terminology, whatever terminology you want it to be. You're teaching kids a terminology to say, hey, how are we handling 2 to the flat? Who's got 2 to the flat? All right, coach, it's sky. All right, safety's got 2 to the flat. Coach, it's backer. Backer's got 2 to the flat. And coach, it's cloud. Corner's got 2 to the flat. Right? So we're changing coverage structures and we're trying to tell our guys who has 2 to the flat, who's got to carry wheels, all the terminology that you would talk about in coverage deals. And then when we talk run support, now we got to talk about, all right, well, who's the force player on this side? Who's the force player on this side? All right, so that's how we break it down to our players. We talk coverage, who handles 2 to the flat, who carries wheels, all right, between our pattern match deal, our 3 deep rotations, and then we get into the world where we talk support and say, okay, how are we forcing the run on this side? How are we forcing the run on the other side? All right, so the presentation that Coach Belfiore did the other day, I thought it was interesting. I've always known how we handle 2 to the flat, but I've never really categorized it into terms to say that when we're in this coverage, 2 to the flat is handled with a cowboy rotation. 2 to the flat is handled with a strike rotation. 2 to the flat is handled with a buzz rotation. And all you're doing is you're explaining to your kids that 2 to the flat is the corner, 2 to the flat is the safety, 2 to the flat is the backer. Now the way I always teach it is in each coverage, based on the leverage, the coverage that the kids play, they know who has 2 to the flat. So when we play quarters, they know it's the backer. When we play palms, they know it's the corner. When we play any of our man deals, they know it's the safety. When we play 3 deep, if it's sky support, they know it's the safety. If it's buzz support, they know it's the backer. Right? So it's just a way for you to understand, A, how do you change how you play 2 to the flat, right? So 2 removed obviously is the one we deal with all the time, but you also got to be able to understand it's the same thing if teams start going 21 personnel. right? So if teams started going 21 personnel with a true, even if it's a Y off, tight end flanker, split end, and now there's two backs back there. Okay, well, we don't live in the Palms world anymore. We live in the quarters world. So if we live in the quarters world, and we've already got it taught, now they understand that the backer has two to the flat to that side. What's the support or what's the rotation here? If it's sky, the safety's got it. If it's, all right, cloud, the corner's got it. If it's poach, the backer's got it. Right? So all we've done is we've come up with a way within each coverage to talk to our guys about who has two to the flat, okay? And then we've talked to our guys about who the support player is or the force player is in a run game. All right, so sometimes the force player matches who the two to the flat player is. When we play Palms, it doesn't. The corner is not a support run player for us when we play Palms. Yes, he has two to the flat in the passing game, but in the run game, it's the Sam linebacker. If he's blocked, it's the safety. All right, the corner, we don't want to be the support player out there. That's why we rarely play, all right, coverage-wise, we rarely play cover two, true cover two, to the field or the wide side, because technically now the corner becomes a support, because if they block the Sam, the safety's not going to replace that. Right? So if the Sam is inside, it's hard to ask him to be the support player. When you play Palms, you can ask the Sam to be the support or the force player, because if they block him, the safety's going to replace, crack, replace. So you can handle your force player that way when you're playing Palms or two read. All right, if it's quarters, we make it real easy. The backer's got support. He's D-gap force. He's got two to the flat. We play him outside. All right, if it was a three deep rotation, then the player that's got the flat is the D-gap force player. So we try to make it as simple as we can. I know it's not always that simple. We try to keep it that simple. I want the kids to live in a world where I explained, we did a YouTube live last night, and I kind of explained to everybody, play fast didn't come from being a hurry up, no huddle offense or a tempo offense. Play fast, the theory behind the name was kids play fast when they know what they're doing. So the better job we do teaching, the more comfortable we get with communication, terminology, where our eyes go, what our technique is, kids will play faster. The more we put in, the more confusing we make it, kids slow down. So I tell people all the time, when you're creating content, all right, on YouTube, yes, I do 500 videos. We don't play all 500 of those things. Each video is a video of its own, and I talk to you about different things you could do or you might do. All right, we don't carry all of those things into a game plan because the kids wouldn't play fast. All right, we teach a bunch of things, and then we get good at what we're good at, and we don't call the other stuff because we want our kids to play fast. They're most comfortable when they know what they're doing, they know where they're lined up, and they know where to look. The more we can live in that world, the faster we play. So play fast is not, me being high-strung, kind of anxiety, angst all the time, running around like a lunatic. That's not what play fast means. Play fast means how do we get kids to play the fastest possible? They've got to be, all right, understanding of what we're doing, confident in what they're doing. They've got to know their alignment, their assignment, their technique, their read, where their eyes go. Once they know those things, they're going to play a lot faster. All right, so when you get into the tempo world on offense, cut down your formations, cut down your play calls, get them in a world where they're comfortable, and you can play a lot faster because the kids will play free. Their mind will be free, right? Practice is all the work. Friday night is just a dress rehearsal. We put on fancy clothes. That's all it should be. If Friday night's got a bunch of thinking involved, the kids are never going to play as fast as you want them. They're never going to play as confident as you want them because you're asking them to do all this thinking. On Friday night, I'm not asking them to think. I'm asking them to react to what we've already done the entire offseason, the entire summer, Monday through Thursday of practice. That's the time to think. That's the time to correct. When we get out on the field, it needs to be react. See something, make a call, know your responsibilities inside of that call, play as fast as you can possibly play, right? So play fast comes from the mindset of how we can get kids to play the fastest way possible. And to me, that means they're playing with confidence. They know their assignments. They know their techniques. They know exactly what they're doing. All right, so again, tomorrow night, Matt Lawrence, Gap Schemes, Zoom Clinic, all right, Play Fast Virtual Series, the last one that we're doing until football is over. If you're interested in that, sting8740@gmail.com. All right, if you want any of the other ones we've done, you can tell me which ones you've done. I can lay them out for you. Again, we had Noma Zone, Offensive Philosophy, Devin Bice, West Alabama, talking about O-line inside zone, My head coach, Tim Krause, screen game. Atavis did a tackling one. Sean McIntyre, Creekside High School, did one on bringing drills that show up in games and taking them back and creating drills to do in practice because they're showing up in games. So that was a lot of drill work. Outstanding presentation on setting up practice to have drills that are mirroring games. All right, I did one on blitz families. Jordan Belfiore, defense coordinator at Colgate, did one on their quarters deal and their fits, and then how they handle two removed and different scenarios in coverage and how they change the fits based on that. So if you're interested in any of the individual clinics, email me, $5 a piece. All 7 clinics you can have for $30 a piece. Email me about registering for the Coach Lawrence Gap Scheme clinic if you are interested in that tomorrow night. Patreon.com if you want to see us playing some of these theories, me taking you through a couple drives or a couple series to tell you what we're in, me taking you through some 7-on-7 stuff, what we're doing, why we're doing it, what's good, what's bad, me taking you through some playbook stuff. It's all the stuff that I don't do on YouTube. All right, so it's YouTube on another level, but it is a subscription site. So if you were to go to Patreon, it takes a subscription to be able to see. None of the stuff is public unless you are a subscriber. So I hope your summer's going well. I hope everybody's healthy. Monday for us kicks it off, so all of my my world kind of changes to full-time football stuff, which means usually have time to do a few extra YouTube videos because I have a classroom in this setting. I'm at school every day. And then Patreon gets kicked up because I have game film that I can show of us playing certain things on defense, blitzes that we used, how we handled certain formations. Now I have game film that I can show and take people through that. So when we get in this time of year, it's full go football. All my other passions and hobbies like golf get put on the back burner. And now we are full go, play fast football, YouTube stuff, Patreon stuff. I try and do at least 3 to 4 or 5 live deals throughout the season because I want to talk about what we're doing, what's been working, what hasn't. I want to talk to other people. What are you seeing? When we do YouTube Live and there's people from Utah and there's people from Michigan and there's people from New York, people from Brazil, I want to talk to them about, hey, what are you guys seeing? Because here's what's been hot down by us and here's the issues we're having. What are you seeing? What are offenses doing? What are you trying to do? What's been good for you? Where are you struggling? That interaction with other coaches is all we got because during the season, you're not going to visit colleges. You're not going to get to sit down and talk to college or NFL coaches. They're in their season. So we really only have our community and each other to lean on to say, hey, are you guys seeing a bunch of flex bone? Because we are. It seems to be the hot trend, and how are you handling it? Are you guys seeing a bunch of empty? Are you guys seeing a bunch of 22 personnel? And then guys that are seeing that can communicate with each other, and then you get guys on YouTube Live, and the chats come up, and you go, hey, yeah, we're seeing a bunch of 22. Here's what we did. Hey, where I am, we're seeing a lot of 11 personnel Y off. Hey, where I am, we're seeing a ton of wing T or flex bone. Right, so I try and do 3 or 4 of those, let you know how we're doing, what's going on in our world, and then to also talk about what's going on with the rest of the Play Fast community. So hope everything's going well. I hope your summer went good. It's just about over if you're in our neck of the woods. So back to football, back to school, back to the everyday grind. I appreciate you guys being here. If you are not a subscriber, please smash that subscribe button. Please turn your notifications on, ring that bell, so you know every time we do YouTube Live, I do a video like this. All right, thumbs up, thumbs down if you like it or don't like it. That's your opinion. You are entitled to it. Leave me a comment. Every comment I see on my end, I try and respond to, whether it's a question about something, telling me how you play something, asking me if I can do a video on something. If I see it on my end, I always try and respond back to people because they took the time and effort to watch a video and make a comment. So I feel like it's in my best interest to address all those comments. So appreciate everything you guys do for me. Appreciate everything you do for Play Fast. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. See ya next time.